Thanks, everyone, for coming to our webinar, BSME, Budapest Semesters in Math Education. My name is Ryota Matsura. I'm the North American Director of the program, and perhaps kind of Team BSME, including Kaya, if you could kind of go around and introduce yourselves.
Well, I can start here. I am Jill Fisher. I am the North American program coordinator and the one that you probably get a lot of emails from if you are on our mailing list, if you're a faculty member or study abroad office person. Um, and once students register, you get lots of emails from me as well before you are handed off to our lovely staff in Budapest.
Oh, I'm Rika Szász. I'm the Hungarian director of BSME. If you come to Budapest, I'll be responsible for the academic component of the program, and I also teach the practicum course. And I'm also the instructor joining the math camp.
I'm Kaya. I was a participant in BSME this past summer, and I'm here for a little bit today to share my experience.
And hi, I am Orsia. I'm the student coordinator for BSME, and I am the one who help you out with all kind of non-academic things that may occur while you are in Budapest, like from finding apartments for you before you come, picking up at the airport, and anything that comes up during the semester.
Great. Thanks, everyone. And I know, Kaya, you have to leave around 11:30 or so. Is that right? So what I have planned is I have a short presentation of what the program entails, and many of you might already know this, and then I'll open it up the floor to Q&A. And if you like the participant perspective, I'll ask Kaya to kind of share her experience a little bit as well at that time. So I'll try to keep this portion brief. But Budapest Semesters in Math Education, this is a program in Budapest, Hungary. And so here's just today's agenda overview. And I'll try to keep it brief. And then we'll ask Kaya to share her experience in Budapest and then a Q&A session. And so, Hungary it's in Central Europe, surrounded by 7 countries. Wonderful people. 2 of them are here right now in the Zoom call. Culture, beautiful scenery, amazing food, and very kind of historically tied to mathematics. The Rubik's Cube was invented in Hungary. If you've ever taught elementary school or been in an elementary school classroom, I'm sure you've seen base 10 blocks. That was invented by a Hungarian math educator. And they did this study a while back, and I mean, I don't know how accurate this is, but I'm just going to quote it. Most mathematicians per capita. Just an absurd number of mathematicians in Hungary. It's not the water, because I've been there a few times. I drank the water and I don't know, it didn't make me any better. But what's the secret? And I think a lot of people might say it's the way they teach mathematics, kind of the pedagogy that they use to teach mathematics. And that's what our program is about. So Hungarian pedagogy, mathematics pedagogy, is really centered around problem solving and the excitement of discovering stuff rather than being told these facts about mathematics, which I know a lot of people have that misconception about math is just memorizing formulas and theorems. In Hungary, kind of their students are encouraged to kind of figure that out on their own. And in order to do that, they're given lots of freedom to argue and make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. And another feature is kind of viewing mathematics as a whole discipline. So not, these algebra 1, algebra 2, and trig, geometry, rather much more integrated, stressing connections between various areas of mathematics. And the teacher's role, rather than kind of this, sage wisdom transfer of knowledge. It's more the motivator and facilitator of student discovery. And that's kind of the hallmark of how math is taught in Hungary. And so our program is all about that. It is a 6-week summer program, typically kind of late June to early August. The exact dates are on our website. It's on the lower left corner of the slide, bsmeducation.com. And the goal, again, is to experience and study this Hungarian pedagogy, bring it back to wherever you're from, and hopefully impact your current or future students. We take this two-pronged approach, if you will. We put our participants ask them to put on their student hat and actually learn some mathematics through this pedagogy to kind of experience what it's like to be a student in a Hungarian classroom. And then also we ask you to put on the teacher's hat, observe Hungarian mathematics lessons. It is during the summer, so schools are out, but there are lots of math camps in Hungary attended by secondary students. So that's where kind of the observations will occur. And also that's where you will design and teach your own lessons to Hungarian students. They're good at English, so no need to learn Hungarian in 6 weeks, although you could try. Our courses, all of them have this focus on the Hungarian pedagogy, but coming from different angles. So one of our courses, gamification and playfulness in teaching mathematics. So how do you use games and make fun, mathematics fun and playful? There's also a course on guided discovery. What does it mean to guide students and to help them figure out things on their own? And then the practicum course, the one that Reka teaches, is all about kind of putting those ideas into action and actually designing lessons and teaching it to students and seeing what that's like. So those are the 3 courses we have. I think our biggest strengths are our instructors. You see Reka is one of them there. But these are Hungarian teacher scholars who grew up learning mathematics through this pedagogy. And now they're, in addition to working for BSME, many of them teach secondary schools. So they don't just talk the talk, they walk the walk every day. So those are, I think, our biggest assets that we have are our wonderful instructors. Budapest is just a wonderful city. And so we recognize that, it's not all about, classes and lesson design and all that. We do give our participants space to explore the city of Budapest and all of Hungary. And because it's surrounded by many European countries, neighboring countries, you can, go to Prague on a day trip, things like that. Our participants are extremely diverse in terms of where they come from, what their background are. I think the common thread is they have interest in teaching mathematics, typically at the secondary level, although we have had some elementary teachers in the past as well. They could be undergraduates who are pursuing a teaching license at their institution. They could also be students who might think about doing licensure afterwards in a master's program, for example. We certainly have in-service teachers as well, and I'll say a little bit more about graduate credits for those folks. And we have people who are just simply curious about learning and teaching. And we've had participants who came to their, I'm a math major, but I'm interested in teaching, and they came to us and now they're, middle school teacher, for example. So we've had kind of a variety of folks with different interests, again, with a common idea that they're all interested in teaching and learning, particularly at the secondary level. Now, the nitty-gritty details of this is on our website again, but we do offer credits, both undergraduate and graduate credits, depending on where you are. And so undergraduate credits come through St. Olaf College, and postgraduates can earn graduate credits through Texas State. So we have a partnership with those institutions. Again, the details are on our website. And so I'll wrap it up soon, but please go to our website. Application is free. It's online. Deadline is April 1, but we do accept applications on a rolling basis. So the earlier apply, the earlier you'll know that you've been accepted, and you can start planning for that as well. And so that's kind of it for my portion. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us. Lots of information's also on our website, bsmeducation.com. And so I will stop sharing my screen. And oh, great. I see some comments on the if you have questions too, feel free. We'll have a Q&A session, but you can keep typing them also on the comment section. But I think now I know Kaya has a timing conflict, so perhaps I can hand it over to you, Kaya, and maybe share a little bit about your experience at BSME.
Sure. I'll start by introducing myself more. I'm currently a junior in college at Gonzaga University in Spokane in Washington State, and I'm pursuing math and education to teach at a secondary level. So this program was kind of a perfect fit for me. It was so specific, but it fit in really well to what I wanted to do. I really, really enjoyed this program. It was so fun to be in classes where the teachers were really excited about what they were teaching. And the group I was with, I didn't know anyone going into it, but we bonded really well. So that made it super fun. I think if I had to describe like the classes overall, I would say that they're really focused about learning through experience. And I mean that on multiple levels. Of course, there's the discovery approach, and that's a big piece of it, that these are very different from lecture classes. You are engaged in the class, doing activities the whole time. And also, it's a teaching class. And so you're not just learning math. It's not a pure math class, but you're also learning math in a certain way and then reflecting on how you're learning it and how the teachers have been guiding you through it. And so it's also experiential at that level, that you're a student, but also thinking about teaching and kind of wearing these multiple hats at once. I really enjoyed the city. You can get around everywhere. I think I was in a car maybe 3 times in my 6 weeks there because there's so much public transportation and you can walk everywhere. Yeah, what else? Oh, something that we got to do is the first week of the program was the last week of schools in Hungary. So we actually did get to visit some classrooms and see how the different teachers were teaching and learn about the differences and similarities of the education system there, which I thought was really interesting.
Can you talk a little bit about your apartment or your living situation and who you lived with and where
Sure.
you lived?
So I was living with 3 other girls in the program, or she connected with the landlords, and there was an apartment waiting for us when we got there. It was about a 15-minute walk from the BSME building, and we had AC, which was very nice, but not everyone has that. Yeah, the apartment was perfect for us. It was small, but had everything we needed.
Can you say a little bit about the camp week? I think that's a little bit different from the
Yeah.
rest of the program.
So we did camp in the middle of classes, which I think you're going to do again this summer. But we went to a math summer camp, a sleepaway camp in the mountains, and we were staying in cabins, and there were kids from like in middle school and high school there. And it was a super cool way to be immersed in the culture. I learned all sorts of cultural tidbits from the kids, and we got to observe their math lessons in the mornings and then also teach a lesson. And sometimes there were difficulties with language and communicating, but usually there were some kids who were pretty good with English and could understand. And we also got to try lots of different cultural foods there. I think that was one of my favorite parts, was just to be immersed and also have the experience of being in a room where everyone was speaking a language that I did not understand at all.
And the camp is outside Budapest, Reka, is that right?
Yes, it's in the mountains.
Well, thanks, Kaya, for sharing your experiences. And I've had my day job is I'm a faculty member at St. Olaf College, and I've had many of my students attend, and their kind of feedback is very similar to what Kaya described in a sense that, there's this intense focus on one topic. How do you teach students in this, guided discovery way? And that's, I think, very exciting for certainly for many of my students that, and just being immersed in a different culture and learning about, I'm in Northfield, Minnesota. Budapest is a very different place. And I think that's exciting. And the bond that I know many of my students are still in touch with the friends that they made in Budapest. And, they've made, I don't know, Instagram and things that I don't quite understand, but there are all these videos that made together and they showed it to me. And it just seems like a lot of impactful and worthwhile experience. So I would certainly endorse it, even though I'm very, very biased. So.
Yeah, I have a question for Kaya. Did you know any other students that were participating in BSME before you went?
No, I didn't know anyone.
Yeah, that's pretty typical that students don't travel as a group to BSME. So everyone basically is a stranger to one another when they first arrive. And so it takes some courage to go and do that, but you're in the same boat as everybody else when you're there.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so much new stuff to experience, and you get to experience it together.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you, Kaya. Are there now, can you open it up to questions to any of us? Feel free to just unmute and let us know, or you can type it onto the comment section as well. Let's see. What can an advanced undergrad student who has been taking graduate level math courses in the US starting freshman year get out of BSME? I see. Postgrad goal is academia teaching pure mathematics at a university.
Okay, I'm happy to answer that question. So we usually have a very diverse audience at BSME, and this diversity is great because all participants can learn a lot from each other in different ways. And so every cohort usually has some participants who are mathematically very advanced and who actually aim to teach at the university level. And it's a very similar mindset, but also it's slightly different. So, and as I said, people coming with different aims and from different backgrounds can learn from each other in different ways.
There's a question. Thanks, Reka. Will we have a mentor/student partner through the university to help us acclimate over the trip, or is it just the initial orientation when we get picked up from the airport?
I can actually answer this question. Uh, No, you will be picked up at the airport. There will be like student representatives who will wait for you and take you to your apartment. And you will have 1, 2 days before the program starts, and that there is going to be an orientation on your first day at school. But there are no assigned student who just Hungarian student who are with you and help you. So we always suggest to get in touch with your peers who also arrive and start doing stuff together. But of course, we are there. So if you feel lost or if you have questions, you can always turn to us and ask. Okay?
So I make a point on meeting everyone one-on-one at the beginning of the program to be able to discuss any concerns, worries, questions. And both Orshi and I are always open to questions, and we are happy to help everyone.
Thanks. All right, I'll read the next question. I'd like to ask about the expectations and learning objectives for students, which I assume mean participants. Also, what are the kinds of the assessment in the program? So basically, are there tests and things like that? Is what I
Okay. So a main expectation is to participate in classes and participate actively in classes. And also every course has their own assessment, and it's a formative assessment. We don't have exams or midterms or anything like that. We have different homework assignments, and each class has an assignment or multiple assignment connected to a teaching task, like for example, in my class, the practicum class, we do micro teaching. So participants need to design a lesson plan and then teach it to their peers. In the guided discovery class, they have to design a problem thread. In the gamification class, again, they need to do a micro teaching around the game. So we have these teaching related tasks.
Great. Thanks, Rika. I can answer the next question. Applying as a freshman undergraduate, purely curious about the Hungarian approach. So from our perspective, as the BSME program, our requirement is that you have to have finished your first year in college and be 18 by the time the program starts. So these are just legal stuff that we have. Now, this is talking as a college faculty member. I think you should check with your institution. Different institutions have kind of, their guidelines and expectations about when's a good time to do study abroad. And so that I will leave it up to the kind of the study abroad office at your school. But for us, as long as you're done with your first year in college and you're 18 by the time the program starts, so your birthday falls before whatever date, late June 2026, you should be okay from our point of view. But please check with your school about that. Next question. I'm interested in teaching, but not pursuing an education degree. Can I still apply? Absolutely. We've had many of those students. I'm a math major interested in pursuing a PhD. Is this program something that would work for me? I'll leave that one for a moment. And then second question, how many students typically accepted? So we've had a range anywhere from 10 to 20. And so I think that's where we've been in the past few years. Math major interested in pursuing a PhD, I think that certainly would work. We've had participants who've gone on to pursue PhD in both math and in education. So kind of like Reka said, a very diverse group. So that definitely would work for you.
And definitely those participants really said that the program enriched their vision of also their choice. And this is not only true for people with a PhD, but like it enriched for many participants their vision of where they want to go. And also in case of the PhD, their experience that they can use in their PhDs. Also, we've had various participants who went home, and then they connected a research project to their experiences during BSME.
Great, thanks. I think the next question is for Orsi, but I'll read it first. So, apartment rent, do we pay in US dollars or Hungarian forint? That's the currency in Hungary. Should we bring cash with us, or do most people wait to visit a bank upon arrival?
Okay, so rent is to be paid in Hungarian forint, and you don't have to bring cash with you. You will have a couple of days to acclimatize to Hungary and to Budapest and to arrive into the city, read your contracts, be a little bit around, and then you will set up a time with your landlord when you can pay your rent. You can pick up the money if you have your bank card. We have cash machines all over the city, so you can pick up the money, but always check with your bank before you come how much it is going to cost for you, or try to set up a plan with your bank so that you can use your card here. So make sure that your card is going to work here. Okay, but most MasterCards and what else, Visa and Maestro, whatever it is, all of them work here, right? So you don't have to change you. And also, if you want to change money, if you bring US dollars and you're going to change money here, don't use the bank because they give a horrible rate. So in that case, you can ask us, and there are exchange places that are safe to use all over Budapest, and you should change money there. But we can talk about it once you are here.
Great, thanks.
Okay, sorry, I would just like to pause a little bit and we'll answer all the questions, but I know that Kaya is leaving soon, so I'm wondering if anyone has specific question to Kaya as a former participant. And yes, meanwhile, I think we can go on with the questions and maybe still see if the last question for Kaya appears in the chat meanwhile.
All right. Link to the recording afterward. Yes, we will put it up on our website, bsmeducation.com, probably by the end of the week, Joe, I imagine. It'll be there. Yep. Well, maybe this is for Kaya. Was it hard to go to restaurants or shop due to the language barrier?
We found that usually there was someone who spoke enough English that it was fine in every shop or restaurant. Sometimes there'd be moments when we didn't really understand each other, but mostly you can make it work, and a lot of the younger people speak English. And then in the stores, there's also self-checkout, and you can switch it to English. Once I found that button, it made it so much easier. But I was actually amazed how easy it was to do stuff, even though I didn't speak the language.
Great.
Thank you so much, Kaya, for coming
Thanks,
and
Kaya.
for sharing your experience and answering questions.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
I will keep reading then. Can we apply to the program independently? Yes, but I would encourage you, this is kind of similar to earlier. I would encourage, if you're an undergrad, I would encourage you to check with your schools, just to due diligence. That's what I would say. Are there summer research opportunities? Well, we don't host REUs at BSME. And what's the cost of the summer program? The tuition is $5,000 and then plus cost of living. And that's all kind of laid out on our website. So again, bsmeducation.com should be pretty easy to navigate. And there's a page kind of dedicated to an expected cost of the program. And so do check it out. And please let us know if you have any questions about that.
And I would like to add that the living cost in Hungary is much lower than the living cost in the US. That is also outlined on our website.
Yeah, thanks. Program has some sort of different themes and courses every year, or the curriculum is fixed? Well, it's evolving, but I think what we laid out on those slides, at least for the upcoming 2026 is we're committed to those courses. But the course is always kind of evolving and trying to make improvements based on the feedback we got from students and how it went the previous year. And every now and then we kind of, change the course structure. But I think what we showed on the slide has been working well for the past couple of years. So at least for the next summer, that's our plan for now. Reka, was there anything you wanted to add to that, or?
No, perfectly.
Okay.
I thought the same.
Yeah. How many credit hours do we get by finishing BSME? On our website, but I think if you're an undergrad, please double check with our website. As an undergrad, you get 2.5 course credits. Now, those are St. Olaf credits, which, St. Olaf does it in a way where like a typical calculus class would be 1 course credit. So 2.5 means you're kind of getting an equivalent of 2.5 courses taken. So I know in many institutions, a typical course like calculus would be like 3 to 4 credits, right? Semester hours, whatever they call it. St. Olaf does a system where it's pretty much 1 credit for 1 regular course. So you'll get 2.5 credits from St. Olaf for BSME if you're an undergrad. If you're getting graduate credits, you'll get 8 credit hours from Texas State. But that doesn't mean it's, like twice as much as St. Olaf, right? Or almost 3 times as much, I should say. It's just the way the credits are counted by those individual institutions. And so please check our website for more details. And again, I'd be happy to, if you have specific questions, reach out to us and I'd be happy to chat more about that. Reka, do you find in-service teachers struggle with the graduate course load as they've been out of school for a while?
So usually, and this is true for everyone, that our aim is to strike a balance between learning and exploring a new country. So while we have regular tasks for each course, and we try to maximize learning, we also leave space for exploring Budapest and for traveling. And the graduate students, they have to do the same tasks as the undergrad students, plus they have one extra project, which is called the graduate credit project, which is also described on our website. So this joint project for the whole program, it's one paper. It could be a lesson plan or a mini research. There are different versions. So this is one thing that they have to do on top of the regular coursework. So I haven't observed anyone struggling with the course load so far.
Great. Thanks, Rika. Next question, how many classes does the 5,000, well, it's $49.95, I should say. I should have said, but what does it include? It's all inclusive. So everything we laid out, the 3 classes, the camp experience. So that's, everyone takes the same course load. I mean, I suppose you could opt out, but why do that? It's meant to be kind of a all-inclusive experience. So, and kind of a typical schedule you can find on our website from the previous years, but we kind of make it work so it's not, overwhelming, but that all the participants get this kind of multiple perspectives, right? So taking classes where you learn the content as learners and then apply it in the practicum course and go to the math camp and work with actual students and implement these methods, pedagogical methods. So that it's all inclusive. Next question. I'm curious whether the classroom structures and instructions vary, lecture-based, project-based, etc.
So the classroom structures vary. We don't have lecture-based classes, so all our classes are based on participation, but in different ways. So in the games and gamification class, and sometimes, as Kai explained, the participants are in a student role trying out the different games themselves, and then they reflect from a teacher's point of view. Also, they do some micro teachings where they create their own games and teach it to their peers. In the guided discovery class, they are again in the student shoes, learning math in the guided discovery way, and then again they reflect from a teacher's point of view, and they design their own problem thread. And in the practicum class, they reflect on their experiences from the other classes, and also they have lots of different experiences about guided discovery, observing videos and visiting schools and going to the math camp. And then also they teach their own lessons and teach it to both each other and also at the camp to the Hungarian students. I hope that answers the question, but I'm happy to answer some more specific ones too.
Thanks. The next question is, do we need any particular vaccines prior to visiting?
That's an Orshi question.
No,
I don't think there are any.
No, so Hungary is totally like similar, like health wise, similar. So we have no different illnesses, and as in North America, and following up on that also. I'll just talk a little bit about the insurance and doctor's visits. So the tuition also includes an local insurance. So there is a private clinic that our participants can attend in Budapest if they have health issues, with a 24-hour emergency line. So they can also call them and ask for help anytime. And also we require our participants to have their own international insurance. For example, if they travel outside of Budapest, then they need that.
Thanks, Rika. What level of credit is received from this program? 100 level, 300 level? Yeah, that's a good question. Yes, most colleges do this differently. I can kind of give you a sense of what St. Olaf does, for example. So credits in math and education. So I think I should check with my registrar's office, but I believe we give them credits in education at 300 level. I believe that's what my institution does for our students who participate in BSME. Yes, participants take all three classes, all three. That's true. And I believe they get 300 level, which for our institution, that's the highest. We have 100, 200, 300 level. 300 level education credits, I believe, is what they receive. I do know that many other institutions, especially for the guided discovery course, because that does have a pretty hefty kind of math component to it, that some institutions give math credits for the guided discovery course. Practicum is certainly very, very education focused. And I think the gamification course, I think it depends on the institution. So that's my answer, I suppose. And we work with, by the way, this is Jill does a lot of work with individual kind of schools, and if they have questions, please have them reach out to us, and we can help them navigate that transfer of credit process. For most institutions, this is not really an issue because we have U.S. colleges, college and university that provide the transcript. So, right. I think we answered the question. Yes, all participants take all three classes. That's all inclusive. Recommendations on how we can purchase international health insurance?
I can answer that. If you are affiliated with a university, if you're an undergraduate student or have undergraduate students, talk to your study abroad office and they will have recommendations. If you are no longer, if you're an in-service teacher or graduate, I have some recommendations. I just know what CISI is something you could is a good one that I know that a lot of schools use. You can also just do a search for international travel insurance for students, and you'll get a list of different companies that will cover you for international health insurance. You just want to make sure that you have insurance that will cover in case you need to be medically evacuated, like you break a your legs or something unfortunate. You want to have insurance that will help you get home if you need to, if you get very sick or something while you're there. So just make sure, or sometimes it's your own personal insurance will cover it, but a lot of personal health insurance don't cover international medical evacuations and other serious medical events abroad.
Thanks. And again, if you have specific questions, please reach out to us and we'd be happy to work with you individually. Next question, are there any math classes we can take over the summer?
Unfortunately, there's no possibility because it won't fit into your schedule to take more classes than the BSME classes.
Any other questions for any of us? All right, then. Well, thanks again for coming to our webinar. And like I said earlier, we'll post the video on our website, bsmeducation.com. It'll be like right in the home page that you can find pretty easily. And if you have any questions about any of those, please reach out to us. We're bsme@bsmeducation.com. And we'd be happy to. So hope to see many of you in Budapest next summer, or your students in Budapest next summer. So thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you. And also thank you for all the questions.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.